Baruch Dayan Ha'emet, we praise the Judge of Truth. If you have a cell phone or a pager, you might want to turn it off or set it to stun. So, stun, yeah, I know. Star Trek is probably only about 50 years ago, so. That's right. It was in black and white, you can tell the kids, right? It was in black and white right away. And then, Baruch Dayan Ha'emet, we praise the Judge of Truth. We gather to do the service for our dear Seema. And I'd like to begin with Psalm 121. Esai enai el haharim me'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. Al yiten lamot raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka ve'yarech belayla. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra. Yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmar tzedcha v'oecha me'ata v'ad olam. I lift my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? My help comes from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. The Lord is your guardian. He is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. He will guard your soul, your going and your coming, now and forever. Death has taken our beloved Seema Arnorld. Her Hebrew name was Simcha. Simcha means joyous, and in so many ways she was. Our friends grieve in their darkened world. In their silence there is lamentation. In their tears there is loneliness. Lost in their sorrow, may they find the presence of loving friends. Hear them, O God, and be with them. For Seema's love that united us in life and which death cannot sever. For her companionship that we shared along life's path and which continues through the tenderness of memory. For the gifts of her heart and mind that brought us joy and happiness and is now a precious remembrance. For all these and more we give our thanks to God. In this time of grief, we listen to the voice of our sacred scriptures. Once again, it brings us the ever-new message of God's nearness. It tells us of our kinship with the Creator. In light as in darkness, in joy as in sorrow, in life as in death. Together let us recite in English the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. It's a privilege to call forward to eulogize his mother, her son Carrie, one of the 3 children, to speak for his generation and others.
Okay. Oh, that's the bill. I don't want that one. Let's take care of that later. That's the one I want. First, I want to thank everyone for coming. Thank you very much. Yesterday when we met with the rabbi, he said, start thinking about what you'd want to say in memories. And when I started to think about the memories of my mother, I realized it wasn't the major life events that had popped into my mind, my bar mitzvah, my wedding, when my kids were born. Rather, it was the everyday settings and everyday things that I thought of, sitting around the dinner table or watching the Browns. Both times she was able to show off her cooking skills, or all the memories that we had from growing up at Lakeside. These were where the memories were made. Some of them were common, like my mom getting mad at my dad for belching at the dinner table, much like Debbie does with me, or yelling at Renee, Brad, and me to stop talking and eat. That was a common refrain. Or the time she was so flustered with our nonstop chatter that she exclaimed, "Stop eating and talk." We all laughed at that one. There was a time she was carrying a Stouffer's spinach souffle in the kitchen, and she dropped it and it splattered all across the floor. Renee, Brad, and I laughed at the time, and we laugh about that today. My mom, not so much. I think that was the first time I ever heard her swear. As it hit the ground, she just let out a silent, or a very quiet, "shit." These are the simple times. It's what I think about. They remind me not of an important event, but of my life with Mom. All the memories from our summers at Lakeside. In fact, for some reason, it's the Lakeside image that sticks out in my mind more than most. It's my mom standing outside the clubhouse, likely during a regatta, selling glasses of beer from a tap. Not sure why that sticks out in my mind. Maybe it's because I thought she looked really cool, standing there pouring beer. And, of course, the sound of mahjong tiles. That distinct clicking as my mom and her fellow players mix the tiles around. And the code, which I never could quite understand. 2 bam, 4 crack, maj. Then after they would finish, they would all debrief about the strategies that they had. She loved sitting there with Betty and Jean and Georgia and Irva and Lori, playing, talking, and laughing. It couldn't have been easy raising the 4 of us. Renee, Brad, me, and my dad. I remember when Renee went out for the night, my mom would sit up by the front window, and she would stay there till Renee walked in the door. For my brother, she would usually lay in bed watching TV, or sometimes sit by the window and run upstairs when she saw him coming home. By the time I was in high school and I would go out, when I got home, she was fast asleep in bed. Or if my friends were over, which was often, because we were kind of the Kool-Aid house on the block, she would stay up late playing penny poker with all of us. I could go on, so many memories of my wonderful mother. She was always there with what was needed, a bandage, an encouraging word, a bowl of matzo ball soup, or some Jewish mother guilt. Whatever the moment called for, she had. When asked what happens when we die, the great philosopher Keanu Reeves said, "I know the ones who love us will miss us. Mom, you are loved and you will be missed." Thank you.
Which movie is that from?
He said it on the Late Night with Stephen Colbert.
Oh.
Just recently.
Here.
Thank you. Is that my other?
Yeah, Kaddish. And to those words, as spoken as a prayer, let us say Amen. We gather this afternoon to fulfill the solemn obligation of paying our respects to the memory of your dearly departed Seema Arnorld, and her Hebrew name, as I said before, is Simcha. This assembly of friends and loved ones is a comfort. It's a support to the sorrowing family. As you have heard already and know, Seema was a big Browns fan, and she would have appreciated the tie. There were many, many years where whenever there was a Browns game on, there would be parties, like football parties at the house, and she would make the food, and they would all gather together. And then I don't know what happened, after they returned in 99, there was probably a big party in 99, and then they started playing, horribly, like that Stouffer's spinach souffle that fell on the kitchen floor. That's probably how we spoke about the Browns. But this looks like it'll be in her loving memory. It should be very, very enjoyable this year. She was the most religious of the family, her children said. So this teaching from the Talmud will work well. It's a midrash about Yom Kippur, which, if her sons were any indication here, would be maybe the time she could get them to go to services. And this midrash is that when the temple stood in Jerusalem, what the high priest would do is he would go and he would offer prayers that he would be worthy to represent the Jewish people, and he would be cleansed of his transgressions. And then the high priest would offer prayers that his family would be cleansed of their transgressions, because everybody either makes mistakes or makes big mistakes. And then he prayed that the Jewish people would be cleansed of their transgressions. And then the Talmud goes on to say and to teach that he would come out and then he would take a section of the Torah and read a brief section from the Torah. It doesn't say which section of the Torah, but there are many appropriate sections to read. It just says he would read a brief section from the Torah, and then he would conclude by saying, "Far more than I have read to you is written therein." And so it is today. Far more than I can describe, far more than any of you, far more than any of us can describe, is the life of your dear Seema Arnold. The love you feel for her, you express by your unspoken remembrances, by your spoken remembrances, by your laughter, by your tears, by the sigh. We are richer for the things we learned. We are richer for her heart and her mind and the joy that she brought. We are poorer for the loss, but so much the richer for her teachings and her love and her relationship. She was born here in Cleveland on July 22nd, 1933. Her parents of blessed memory, Benjamin and Rachel Pomerantz. Her mother, Rachel, died when Seema was very young. I don't remember how young you said Seema was, but 5 years old, 6 years old. She was very young, and so she was raised by relatives. And this is a particularly difficult thing. She was the only child, and she had the good fortune of meeting her dear husband, Norman, introduced by a frat brother at the Phi Sig fraternity at Western Reserve. And they were married on June 7th, 1953. They were married by Rabbi Rosenthal at Heights Temple. If you've been in Cleveland around for a while, you will remember Rabbi Rosenthal. They shared a life of almost 66 years together and were blessed with 3 children and 4 grandchildren. Renee, her husband Philip, Brad, his wife Mal, Carrie, his wife Debbie, and the children, Rith, Samantha, Hallie, and Samantha. What did I say? Oh, it's Matthew. Oh, you know what? It is Matthew at the bottom. Matthew, you are Matthew, not Samantha. I apologize. Debbie said that of her mother-in-law that she loved to cook. She was Miss Manners proper. She was very proper. She would make sure that there were notes and thank you notes. She was very devoted to Norm. She was a very special grandma and a very special mother-in-law. She touched people. She was caring and she was loving. And as we were meeting in the apartment at Stone Gardens, I asked if I could see a picture of her, and it's a lovely picture of her. And then they brought out the picture from the commode, the water closet of the boat. You know, I mean, it's a good place. You want to see your boat. If you've been at Lakeside Yacht Club for a long time, you want to see the boat often. And frankly, you know, you're in the water closet a lot. It's a lovely picture of that Tartan 30 in 1973 competition rig with her name on the back. Did you name the boat for her? Simcha, right on the back. Apparently she saw the boat from the outside more than she saw it from the inside, because she didn't like to be on the boat all that much, but that's okay. A lot of people that go boating are the same. Brad indicated, she just had an undying love. And of the Jewish holidays, her favorite Jewish holiday would be the one where you break the fast. Or at the end of Yom Kippur, you break the fast because she loved to cook and be together with the family. Her dear daughter Renee and she spoke every single day. And so even if they didn't have much to say, it's, as we all know, it's good to talk to your mom just on the phone, to say, "Hi, Mom." Don't have to share a whole lot of things, but just to hear the voice. And so it's a particularly difficult time when you have been speaking to someone every day. Now it's a deafening silence. You feel the person, but you don't hear the voice. So this is a particularly difficult time. She had a bad leg or a knee, and then she had surgery, and ever since that knee surgery and the recuperation, things have just kind of cascaded, which is a real sadness, because you want to be able to get up and move. So you have the surgery, and then when things don't go well, then you go, maybe I shouldn't have had the surgery, but most of us would have the surgery anyway. So it's no reason to go through the whole litany of medical issues, but she breathed her last on Friday morning, and now her soul is at peace. There's no more deterioration of her body or her mind or anything. Now there's just rest and wholeness and peace. Her soul is returning to God and to be with the souls of her dear family and deceased friends and ancestors of our people. One day, when each of us breathes our last, when we all go, Judaism believes that the soul lives on in a time called Olam Haba, the world to come. This is a place that we don't live on in a place. We live on in a time. Olam Haba, the world to come. And so her soul is there at that time. And when you go, no one's in a hurry, but Norm, your soul will be with your dear wife again. And all of us, this is what Judaism believes, that God will take care of the soul of our loved ones, and God will take care of our souls as well. The family has allowed us to send along an old prayer book with her. Not only is it a mitzvah to escort the body of a loved one to its final resting place, but also a mitzvah to do so with holy books of our tradition. So we thank the family for allowing us to do that. Your memories are rich with the thoughts of your dear Seema, who has gone from life. We give thanks to God for this gift of life, 85 plus years. She would have been 86 this July. And as you think of her, play some Maj, play some cards, root for the Browns. Hopefully it'll be a good season for us to root for. Be a good friend. Be a confidant. Be more eager to help and serve others, and do these things in her loving memory. For only through our deeds can the world be compensated for her loss. And so we say with tears in our eyes, words from the first chapter of the book of Job. Adonai Natan, Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mevorach. The Lord hath given, the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Ve'imru yimru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. May God, who causes peace to reign in the high heavens, cause peace to rain down upon us, upon all Israel, and upon the soul of our dearly departed Seema Arnorld. And let us say, Amen. Please rise for El Malei Rachamim. Into your care, O God, we entrust the spirit of our dear Seema Arnold. For you keep faith with your children in death as in life. Sustain us that we may meet with serenity the mysteries that lie ahead, knowing that when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you, O God, are with us, a loving friend, in whom we put our trust. You are the light of our life, our hope in eternity. El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hametzeh Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kedoshim U'Tohorim, Kezohar Raki Amazirim, Et Nishmat Simcha Shehalacha L'Olama Ba'al Harachamim Yasdireha B'Seter Knafav L'Olamim Vayitzror B'Yitzror HaChaim Et Nishmata Adonai hu nachalata, v'tanuach b'shalom al mishkava, v'nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to our dear Simcha, our dear Seema Arnold. She has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. Please be seated for a moment. We will soon go in procession to Mount Olive Cemetery. At that point, we will escort her body to its final resting place, and we will then recite the Kaddish prayer. We'll say Kaddish for Seema for the next month at Temple Israel Ner Tamid. Our Friday night services are every Friday night at 7:30, and we will recite Kaddish for her. It'll be a privilege, whether any family members are in attendance or not. The family has asked that when you consider making donations in her loving memory, think of the Arthritis Foundation first. And we, after the burial, will be going to Carrie and Debbie's house at 3948 East Ash Lane in Orange. The family will be there until 7 p.m. When we get back to the house, we'll light the Shiva candles, say Kaddish, and begin the mourner's meal. This concludes our service here, and the directors will give us directions for the procession to the cemetery.